But right now we have some more breaking news coming in, wherein government sources have said to CNN News 18 that UK and Japan bilateral talks will be post-lunch, which is between 1 to 2:30 p.m. Two important side events are to be held in the evening, and bilaterals with Italy will also be taking place in the evening. Bilateral with Turkey will take place at 11 a.m. So these are the updates that we are getting. And we have Abhishek now joining us on the broadcast. Abhishek, a very good morning to you. These are the latest updates we are getting from the G20 summit that is to take place today. And Abhishek, Anand was just pointing out the fact that India, being the host country, is having so many bilateral talks at this side, the constant lineups of bilateral meetings. And on the other hand, the other countries, and moreover the guest countries which are coming in, imagine the kind of bilateral talks they have planned out, because we do have information that there are quite a few multiple such talks that are planned out. So these particular bilateral talks that we are speaking of, yesterday also Prime Minister Modi had 3 of them. Today there are a few scheduled. How are we looking at these? What are some of our major takeaways from these bilateral meetings?
Of course, bilaterals are an important, meeting point where the leaders do discuss their issues, bilateral issues around this multilateral platform. So when Prime Minister Modi had a meeting, a bilateral meeting with President Biden, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, and Mauritius Prime Minister Praveen Jagannath, then it was clearly about India's vision with these countries and how they are looking forward to having a more, collaborative and strong relationship. What today is also going to be a very hectic schedule for Prime Minister Modi, when he will be starting with somewhere around 9:15. He'll be reaching to Bharat Mandapam. 9:20 is the time when the leaders' arrival will start. 10 a.m. will the first session of the day will start, and Prime Minister Modi is going to have some of the bilateral meetings. Prime Minister of UK, Rishi Sunak, is going to be the guest of Prime Minister around lunchtime. Also, Prime Minister of Japan, Fumio Kishida, will be having a bilateral with Prime Minister Modi in the evening around 5 o'clock. Prime Minister of Italy, Giorgia Meloni, will be having a bilateral with Prime Minister Modi. So, Prime Minister's vision is clearly that when the world is looking forward to having a G20 meeting, the mega gathering, which will be discussing about the major issues around the world right now, India do engage bilaterally with several countries, and that can give a window of opportunity where India can strengthen and further its bilateral ties as well with the UK, Italy, or we have heard that with German Chancellor also, Olaf Scholz, also Prime Minister, is going to have a meeting. German Chancellor was earlier this year also in India, where he had expressed his intent of employing more Indians in Germany, and mobility pact is something that India and Germany have been keenly working around. Then there are trade aspect. What is more interesting will be how these European countries, while they will be engaging with Indian counterpart, like Prime Minister Modi is having so many bilaterals, what are the global issues that they will be discussing? Because in the wake of Russia-Ukraine conflict, Europe's main concerns has only been centered around how the Ukraine crisis can be dealt with, and they have been mostly trying to help Ukraine with money, military supplies, and trying to create a diplomatic push in support of Ukraine around the world. So will that be a prime on agenda, and how Prime Minister Modi is going to express India's opinion regarding the same issue is something interesting that we'll be waiting for. And also how India can have bilateral relationship with these countries. India-Japan bilateral relation, we know that Japan has been a huge investor in infrastructure sector in India, and there are multiple projects like metro, rail connectivity, economic corridors that are being developed by Japanese government with very minuscule interest rate loan that has been provided by the Japanese government. Then there are important technological partnership that is happening. Japan is also keen on having more Indians employed in Japan, because of the number of employable youth in Japan reducing, certainly because there has been a kind of decline in the overall population and the demographic structure in Japan, where the number of employable people have reduced substantially in the recent years, and Japan is increasingly looking forward to having more collaboration with countries like India, where they can kind of trust the people, the kind of culture and they have some sort of similarity and commonness also, and these people would go there, they will work as professional in Japan. So there are multiple engagement points that Prime Minister Modi will be discussing with these leaders during his several bilateral talks during the day.
Right, Abhishek, and to all of you who joined us, thank you for joining us and giving us all those details. We will come back to you and continue the discussion on this big day that India is headed towards. And right now, we will slip into a short break. Do stay tuned to CNN News 18 as we keep bringing you all the latest updates from the summit. And